truly is worthy of all the glory that we can bestow upon him, and not only today, but all the days of our lives. God is God, and besides him, there is no other God. I thank God for my presence, recognizing Reverend McTeasley, Reverend Pam, and First Lady Laverne, and to all of you all that are here this morning to witness what God has given us to share. You know, it's an interesting thing about, tears were brought to my eyes this morning when Father reminded me of his words. And his words said that I'm here, I'm there,
I'm everywhere.
I'm everywhere.
Yes, yes, yes.
You know, I almost made a terrible mistake last week. I got a call from Tashika asking for the choir to be at the service because Audrey loved her choir. My immediate response to her was, they're all gone. They're out of town. But when I sat back down, I couldn't accept that. It kept bothering me. So I got on the phone and called Sister Kim. I said, who have you got? She said, leave it to me, I'll take care of it. She made some calls, and she called Brother Oliver. He made some calls. And the choir was off, as the young folks says, off the chain.
All right. All right.
It taught me a lesson. Forget about what they say.
That's right.
Because ain't nobody going to be there.
I know that's right.
But we only miss one choir member. One. The rest of them was here in town. Not only that, the church showed up in numbers.
Amen.
And when the choir stood, began to sing, and Brother Oliver directing, and Alex, I call him Alex, his name is Philip, I call him Alex, because that's what Audrey called him. Their group showed out too, didn't they? And Audrey was excited in spirit.
Amen.
A funeral service like, I've seen a lot of funerals, but not like that one. So I told Sister Kimberly this morning, from now on, I'm going to the chief. Whoever's in charge of that department, you tell me what you can do. But Father said, I'll be there. I want to let you all know how proud I was of all the things you all did on yesterday. You all were awesome. And to my assistant pastor, you know, let me just say this. There's certain things men don't do, or men from the old school don't do. We don't go to no man's house. We ain't home.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Huh?
That's right. That's right.
We don't do that unless we've been invited. Is that right?
That's right.
So when I got there, I looked for the pastor. He wasn't there. I wasn't invited. That was his house. So I looked for the next person in charge. Why is it so important for ushers to be on duty before?
See? All right.
See, you,
All right.
Sometimes y'all just don't get it. So they were there, waiting for service. So I went to the usher. Is the pastor here? I don't think so. Fan off him, if you will. He was very receptive to my request. He's not here. I need to know what I need to do, because if he's not here, I need to know what I can't do and what I can do. You don't walk into my house
And do what you want to do.
or you don't do that.
That's
That's
right.
right.
That's right.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, I noticed that sometimes in our church, people down there tell you to stand up, but the orders come from here.
See,
That's right.
see,
What I'm
See?
saying.
Now, if you stand up because the Spirit there, stand up.
That's it. That's it.
stand up.
That's it.
But how the usher going to tell you to stand up? They ain't in charge of nothing.
Except the door. Been home.
I want to know what I can do in this man's house. So then I got to find out about the mic system. And that was the situation, wasn't it?
Yes, a little bit.
But in the end, everything worked out. But let me tell you, my assistant pastor knew that I was unnerved. She could look at me and tell it. And so I got to the rostrum. My first mistake was I called on the wrong person first. But God blessed, didn't he? But in the end, it all worked out the way God wanted to work out. I just wanted to say those few words to you all. Thank you for so much you've done. Our just family certainly appreciated it, and I appreciated it too. But what a job the choir did. Thank you, Brother Oliver. Thank you, Sister Kim. And thank you all for showing up. And thank you for the way you sang, because people was commenting on it as we left the sanctuary. I'm going to go immediately now into the book of Galatians, the 6th chapter, 1 through the 10th. Galatians, 6th chapter, 1 through 10. I may finish the whole thing, I may not. But Paul speaks now something very important. How we should conduct ourselves with our brothers and sisters in Christ Jesus. Paul was a man that was blessed with a dual citizenship, what allowed him to understand both Jew and Gentiles. Now, we all operate the same, do we? But when we are in the Spirit of God, God takes over. Like Reverend Mack and I have learned, and you all have learned also, that when we go to represent this church, Father takes over. We would never embarrass our church because he won't allow it. So Paul was speaking to the Galatians on how they should conduct themselves with their brothers, and I'll say with their sisters as well. He says, brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such a one in a spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. And if a man think himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceives himself. Now, what is Paul saying to the Galatian Christians at this time? If our brother fails, if he sins, and his sin become known, protect him, not by calling him out and embarrassing him or her. But it's the privacy of love and meekness. Call one to the side and say, brother, be careful. Watch yourself. You ought to step with Christ. You don't show him up.
That's right.
You don't act like you're somebody special.
Right.
Because what Paul said here, if you think you're something, you're nobody.
Right.
So many times have I heard people say, I don't believe that such and such said, I don't believe she said that. I didn't think she'd ever do that. I don't think he would ever do that. And later on, they said themselves, I never thought I'd say what I said. I never thought I would do that. Not me. Because you thought you were better than your sister and brother.
Yes.
And you ain't no better. The tempter just haven't tempted you yet. He haven't found your weakness. And the tempter stalks us.
Yes.
As I often say, a person that can't be trusted with money should not apply for a job in the bank.
Amen.
Is that right? Don't ever think that you're above somebody else.
That's right.
You might not do one thing, but you do something else. I didn't pick this. And man think himself be something. When he is nothing, he deceives himself. When you deceive yourself, you deceive the wrong person. How many times have people lied to themselves just to make themselves look good?
All right.
Look at yourself. Consider yourself, lest thou be tempted. Paul wanted them to know that in the church, ain't no way in the world I can admonish you if I'm wrong myself. Is that right? I've noticed in sermons as I go about, there are certain sermons that preachers don't preach about. If that's one of their weaknesses.
That's right. That's right.
Because the Bible is like a two-edged sword, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And don't ever think that somebody don't know your stuff.
That's right.
So be careful, my brothers and sisters. Encourage each other. But know that you're right. What did the Father teach us? Know that you're right. Then go ahead. Because he told us, when I say us, I mean our forefathers. He said, some will uncover themselves, and some I will uncover. In other words, you ain't getting away. I'm not going to get away. Because if you can't uncover me, he will uncover me himself. Reverend Cade would preach sometimes. You all know the story. She said, Father hides us. Why did he hide us in our wrong? Because as the Apostle Paul said, let us do nothing that the ministry might be blamed.
Blinding point.
Don't blame our ministry, because that's what they're going to do.
That's right. That's right.
That church over there, that preacher over there. But God, don't forget, we were talking one day in Bible study about forgiving and forget. asked the class, does God forget? No. So you think you're going to forget? No. You can forgive, can't you? But you're going to forget. Now let me tell you what Satan deals with. When everything is going good, you're sitting down just happy as you can be. Here comes Satan. Don't forget now. You remember what she said to you? Remember what he did to you? And then you start feasting on that, right? And they say, and don't forget now. There's a whole host of stuff. Now, you're so angry. And Satan just as happy as he can be. Because he's spoil your day.
Knocking you out of a blessing.
So watch what we say. Watch what we do. I want to tell you all something. Because neither one of these persons are here. And I'm not going to call their name anyway. But this one person was distraught and decided that they weren't going to live no more. And they were going to take their life. But somebody who had taken their life already showed up. Said, don't you do that. Because you do not know how many people lives you affect when you take your life.
That's right. Amen.
That's right. That's right.
I say to this person, did you tell anybody? No. He said, did you say it out loud? No. What's my point? That spirits are alive, intelligent, and pick up your thoughts, and so can we pick up your thoughts. Don't you love it when people think they got something on you and you're listening? You know, my dad told me one time. No, he didn't tell me. I take it back, Daddy. He didn't tell me. One of his assistant pastors, he said, now look, he was at a church. I'm still talking about Paul here. When you think you're something and you're nothing. My dad told his membership, do not go out between service talking about this man. This man was a man like I'm talking now. It wasn't clear. In other words, his voice. My voice is not my voice. But this man had a problem speaking. People have the tendency to laugh at you.
Yeah.
My dad said, don't go out talking about this man. Because this man here. When service picked up that evening, that man came right back out, told them everything they said. My daddy warned them. There are many gifts, spiritual gifts. Some of you want, some of you don't want. But if God gives them to you, you got them. I was trying to explain to somebody the other day, are you greater than what you made? Got quiet, didn't it? Are you greater than what you made? Are we greater than God that made us? Is a television greater than the one who made it, invented it? I asked him, said, can you see the electronic waves coming from the tower to your television? But you see the picture.
Yes. Yes.
Understand me? The intelligence of man that God gave to us. We have to understand that what we don't see don't mean that it doesn't exist.
Amen.
Let me move on with this because as the Spirit gives me utterance, I get excited because I was told the other day to stop doing something, but I'm trying to get it out anyway. Because I don't know how long I'm going to be here. I don't know. And I thank the sister in the back for talking about Monday nights. Because that's where the action is. And she's right. We don't know what's going to happen. But whatever happens is what the Spirit wants to happen. But let every man prove his own works, and then shall he have rejoiced in himself alone, and not in another. For every man shall bear his own burden. Now look, we're supposed to help each other, aren't we? But if you don't want to be helped, you think I'm supposed to worry with you? Be honest about it.
Right. That's right.
If you know that drinking is against you, or eating certain foods against you, and I tell you to stop doing so-and-so, it's not good for you, you keep on doing it. I was in the hospital not too long ago, talking to somebody. I didn't know that behind the next curtain, this couple was listening to me talking to this man. I noticed this lady peeped around the corner at me. She said, I'm glad that you said what you said because my husband needs to hear what you were saying. So let me explain, let me use myself as an example. Okay? When we don't do what we're supposed to do, because of my own disobedience, to my own not paying attention to my wife, to my youngest son, who knew what I didn't vision, I cost him 36 days of worrying with me in the hospital. Okay? I told myself that I could come in this church because God gave me acre. I could redo the upstairs. When that was done, I ain't through. The basement got to be done. Downstairs. All right? Now the wife wants a deck. I can do this. And I don't want nobody to help me. Because I don't want you bothering me. Because I want to do it my way. And then we decided that she wanted to have all the ladies out. The ladies there at the house. I did the whole house inside by myself. And the result of that, So let me read that just one more time.
All right.
It says that for every man shall bear his own burden. Now, what was his wife telling me in the hospital? Because my husband is the hardhead, I got to be out here with him.
Right.
Everybody don't want to be with you in your stuff when you could have done better.
That's right. That's right.
Am I with the Bible?
That's right.
This is what I read to you. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I ain't going to do it no more.
No, that's right.
Amen. Because what I've learned in life, this is off the record, but it ain't off the record. People don't appreciate what you do no way.
Right. Amen. Amen. Exactly. Amen.
They don't appreciate what you do no way.
That's right. Amen. You ain't never done enough.
And when it's all done and said, Oh, he was a wonderful man. While he found another one. Huh? While he found another pastor. While he found another wife. While he found another. Keep on nothing. Interesting life. Okay, I didn't ask for this sermon. Let me go back to something. But let every man prove his own work. Then shall he rejoice in himself. When we were in school, something that the chancellor taught us, and I'm sure Reverend Mack and Brother Clifford can agree with this. He said, people can't make you happy. You got to make your own self happy. Huh? When he said that, I said, you think you could go out and buy some stuff going to make somebody happy? For about 5 minutes.
Right, exactly.
Huh?
Exactly.
Huh? You better learn how to make your own self happy.
Amen.
You better start with Jesus Christ.
That's it. That's
Huh?
it. The only way you're going to find it.
And if other people don't encourage you, you better do like my mother told me. You better encourage yourself.
That's right. That's right.
And you know what happens? When you start encouraging yourself, people begin to say, oh, you think you can do everything by yourself. Well, I try to do it with
Which you? I know that's right. Tell the truth.
You know, this Bible is a success story. It'll tell you how to live on it. It will. If you pay attention to it. If you meditate on this Bible, it'll teach you how to live.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And once you learn how to live, time to take care of itself. And that's what Father taught us. Amen.
Right.
Let him that taught in the word communicate to him that teaches in all good things. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. What is Paul saying? So let me use myself as an example, because you could be ready to relate to this. I've been pastoring 30 years. I've been trying to teach you all the Bible and all the histories of our church. Those who have picked it up has prospered from it, haven't yet. Where this is my queer setting, my seat. One day, I was getting ready to leave my job. It was a good job, paid good money. And I was kind of apprehensive because a man always considers his family first when it comes to earning money. You want to make sure your family's taken care of. The Spirit told me as I said where she's sitting one day, take a dollar bill, put it in your Bible on the 23rd Psalm, and you'll never be without money.
Amen.
And I ain't never been without money since. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Okay, there's one.
Me.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
Now, let me go back to Paul. If I'm teaching you, and God bless you, you ought to bless me. Because what he said here, that way you sow, you also
Read.
I wish Spirit came to this call. Y'all get quiet when it comes to talk to money.
See,
I was telling them downstairs, they were complimenting me on the suit I was wearing. I said, sweetheart, do you know how old this suit is? This suit is 20 years old. And it is. So I began to teach them what Father taught us. He said, when you buy new clothes, wear them to where?
Church
First. No. I'm wearing this to this house got you. I bought this for the special affair. She said that. I didn't. But I believe in the teaching. And what I'm wearing to you for the last 3 years, except for when I lost weight, I had to buy smaller suits. But I believe in this teaching. But if you prosper from it, from the one who communicated to you, nothing wrong with giving. What did Paul said? He got a right to eat from the altar. That's what he said. What was he talking about? What you put in. But Paul said, but I don't ask you for nothing. Is that what Paul said?
That's what he said.
Huh?
That's what he said. That's the word.
Why? Because Paul knows if I do my work according to God's will, God will.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. No.
But I notice those who shoot, Pastor do all right. Look what the first lady driving out there. Well, the first lady's paying for her own car too. Understand? But when you learn how to give, real giving, you look at your checkbook and you start questioning, man, where did this come from? God can stretch anything.
Yes, he does.
I don't care what it is. He stretches it. But God wants his share. I don't have to tell you about Malachi done. Bring your tithes and offerings. There might be some meat in his house. At the time, he was talking about sheep and goats, but now we're talking about greenback.
All right.
For he that soweth to his flesh shall of his flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting.
Yes. Man.
A lot of people spend a lot of time accumulating stuff. They love their stuff. Amen. The stuff you have to leave behind, don't you? There's a man in the house, but when I say what I say, you know who I'm talking about, who worked for some very wealthy people. And oftentimes, he would have the assignment of going in and cleaning out these houses that the people passed away and leave all this stuff behind. Because the heirs don't want it. He found diamond rings, all kind of furniture. You know what I'm talking about. All kind of good stuff. Why? Because the people don't want it. So you accumulating all this stuff. And people going to say, I don't want it. I don't want it. Give it away. Just enjoy your life as you go. Because what you valued is not going to be what they value.
That's right. That's right.
And I can contest, my oldest son, let me bring him into it, then I'm going to move on. He used to be my business partner. We bought buildings together. And the things he told me was right. He said, Daddy, you do too much. You got these bills looking like this. You don't need to do all that. I got a witness back there. But he told me, he said, Daddy, you better get rid of that ass building, because if you die, I ain't going to fool with it. He told me up front. I'm not fooling with that thing. You see what I'm talking about? When I tell you things, I try to be in the spirit or about an experience to tell you what's. People not going to fool with what you value. Especially when they're blessed. The oldest son of mine is blessed. All of them are blessed. But he is blessed, but yeah, I'm blessed. And I don't take him lightly. If he said it, it's exactly what he meant. Am I doing the right, baby? Now, when we sow to the Spirit, did anybody notice how Sister Audrey looked yesterday? Did you notice how the service was carried out? Did you notice the peace in the house? Because she was there. I want to tell them folks some things, but the Spirit shut me down a little because maybe I wasn't supposed to say it. Wonderful service. She was pleased. Now here, the 9th and 10th verse, as I conclude. And it's very important. Because this is not easy. It says, and let us not be weary in well doing. For in due season we shall reap if we faint not. Now that ain't easy. Sometimes people, oh my goodness, there's witness back there. People will wear you out. We had a brother came in our church one Monday night, and one of the reverends was sitting back there. And I walked up to him and looked at him. And when the Holy Spirit was looking at him either. So I had to invite the brother outside. Because one thing, don't ever forget, you're part human.
That's right.
And you're part spiritual.
That's right.
But don't be weary.
That's right.
And well doing, because you will reap the blessing of it. But don't get upset with yourself when the human side sets in. Because it's going to set in. You hear me? But what you have to do is minimize it. If I had back and I was told something one day, and I love people to say the right things to me when I say the wrong things. I said if I had some money that I've given away and people had not appreciated it, I have a whole lot of money. Somebody said to me, maybe. Because what I did out of my heart. And the Bible said, don't be weary. But you do get weary. For some reason, you have to keep on doing, don't you? And then you say to yourself, why did I do that again? Because it's the spirit that God put in you. And God puts the spirit in you that you're supposed to have. Let me finish. As we have, therefore, opportunity, let us do good unto all men, especially unto them who are of the house of faith. Mm-hmm. You see, it's hard to deny people of the house of faith. God don't appreciate that. God said, if that brother came to you begging bread, would you give him what? A stone. That's right. Why would you give him a stone? He can't eat a stone.
Right.
You eat bread, right?
That's right.
And God will get you where you can. Not when he can, when he wants to. God bless you all. I didn't ask for this sermon. But I'm going to give y'all what the Spirit gave you. Because somebody will benefit from it. Because some of y'all are stingy.
God bless you, man.
Bless you. God bless you.